everybody, my name is David and this is the Cartoon Fortress YouTube channel where we discuss films and film collecting. Now, I am a child of the 80s and 90s, and having grown up during that era, I can tell you that we were definitely spoiled as kids. We had so many great movies and TV shows. We had Saturday morning cartoons, and it was just really a wonderful time to be a kid. Now, I had several different movies and TV shows that were staples in my childhood and ones that I revisited on a regular basis, and honestly that I still visit on a regular basis now, well into my adult years. Now, one of the gems that I grew up with that was, again, one of these staples is a film from 1986 directed by Randall Kleiser that was produced by Disney, and that is called Flight of the Navigator. Now, I don't think that this movie is talked about nearly as much as it should be. It came out in the middle of the 80s, the heyday of really kind of experimental filmmaking, especially where family or kids films are concerned. I think there was a lot of really interesting topics tackled, and with Flight of the Navigator, you had a really multi-layered project. So at face value, we have what could be looked at as just a really fun sci-fi film. You have some alien elements at play and a spaceship, and it's an adventure film, but it really dives a lot deeper than that. And we look at themes of family and family relationships, identity, and really loss of identity, and it really touches on some emotional notes. And then on top of all of that, you have just a really great score, and overall, in my opinion, one of the great films of the 1980s. Now, last year we saw the release of a documentary by Lisa Downs called Life After the Navigator. Now, this is a really special project and one that I am so happy to have in my collection and to have been able to watch as well. Now, this documentary is interesting, and it takes on a really interesting format that I really applaud Lisa for, and that is that we have a real juxtaposition with exploring the production of really what is a 1980s family classic, and we have interviews with really great actors from the film, really the main cast from the film, including we have Veronica Cartwright, Cliff DeYoung, Howard Hessman, Matt Adler, Raymond Fortune, and with also director Randall Kleiser. Now, of course, he is known maybe best for Grease, which he directed in the 70s. So he had a resume that had built over the years. And then in 1986, he took on this project, Flight of the Navigator. Now, the other part of that, where I'm talking about this juxtaposition, is that we have the exploration of the film production, and then we also have kind of the bigger story, and the big win for this documentary is the platform that was given to Joey Kramer, who plays David Freeman, our main character in the film, to be able to tell his story. So as a young child actor, which unfortunately is the theme for a lot of child actors, is that there were some tough choices made, and even before production, during production, and then especially after production of the film, life really took some sharp turns for Joey Kramer. And what we're presented here is his story, and he really, which I really respect him for. He's very kind of takes a very vulnerable position here to share some of the things that he shares. And there's some really tough things, and that's one thing about this documentary, is it really kind of blindsided me. I wasn't quite prepared for what I was watching. And so there's some really, really difficult topics that he discusses, with elements of his family, with drug addiction, and other things as well, which when I was originally producing this review of the documentary, I felt like I was going too far with it, where I was almost producing a documentary review about the documentary, and I don't want to take away from Lisa's work here, or what Joey Kramer has to say. And so it's something that I want you to be able to watch for yourself. But there's some really tough topics that are discussed, and really for me, and it could be looked at as face value of, oh, this is a sad story about a child star who fell into addiction and basically out of existence. Well, that is not the whole story here. In fact, it goes much, much deeper than that. And so I feel like with this documentary, aside from learning more about the film, which I was really excited about, it was in having a story that I was able to really emotionally invest myself in that was really rewarding. And I applaud Joey for telling his story. I think it's really great, and was done very respectfully, I feel like, by Lisa and her team in how they produced this documentary, and just allowed him to share his story. And we follow him over a decent period of time. I know this wasn't filmed just over a few days. This was a considerably larger project than that, which I thought was really neat, because I feel that even with the runtime of the documentary and the actual real life time that they were filming the documentary, that you see tremendous growth for Joey, even just within that time frame. And so some of the bigger elements at play here are just really the illustration of the perseverance of the human spirit, and not giving up on owning and kind of creating that life that one envisions for themselves. And that's really the big takeaways for me from this documentary. So I can't recommend it enough. Maybe the only disclaimer that I would give is that the topics discussed are really, really heavy. And I think it's important too that these topics be discussed, and that there's a platform given to talk about these things, about addiction and things like that. Because I know that there's a lot of people out there that maybe need to hear things that Joey is saying in this documentary. So there's kind of a larger effect that I feel like this documentary will have on people that watch it, and certainly larger and transcends just simply talking about a film, which again is just a small part of what we're looking at here, but is still enjoyable, kind of joined up with Joey telling his story. So this is an extraordinary film, and one that I can easily recommend. Lisa and her team should be very proud of the work that they've done here, and I'm just really grateful to have seen this and to have it in my collection. And speaking of having it in my collection, I did want to go over a couple of items here. So first up, we have the Blu-ray that was produced for this documentary, and this is available to purchase directly through Lisa. They actually ship these out. Now, she is located in the UK. I am in the States, and I got my copy really quick. I know with mail and just shipping and everything these days, it can be a little tricky to get things within kind of a more reasonable amount of time. For whatever reason, my order got to me quickly. I know other orders have taken a little bit more time, so maybe just be patient with that if you do purchase this. But this comes out to, I believe it's 16 or 17 British pounds, so about 20 US dollars. And this is well worth the money. Not only do you get the documentary here, but there are some extra features intact, including an interview with Lisa Downs, which I found really enjoyable. And on the inside, well, let's talk first as well about the kind of the aesthetic of the cover here. So you have this really retro, I love this kind of rainbow theme up here. And then this is the logo for the Life After films. And just great design from their poster for Life After the Navigator. And then on the back here, you have a blurb about the film, and then a quote from Cliff DeYoung. And I really like this quote actually from Cliff. He says, "It's not just a story about a kid actor that goes to jail. It's about what happened." And that's really true. There's a lot of layers to what's discussed in this film and to Joey's experience. And then looking on the inside here on the Blu-ray case, we have a really great presentation here. So we of course get the Blu-ray disc with some really great disc art, and then we also get a small booklet here. And as you can see, we get a really cool design on this. You have the, whoops, let's flip it that way. So there's really cool retro styling there. And then on the back, you have the poster for the film. And then you have a write-up here about Lisa Downs. And then there's Joey Kramer. There's just, it's not too large of a booklet, so I'll just kind of show you through these. And there's the last page. And again, the back and front on that. So I love that they included the booklet, but just great overall presentation here. And the film looks great in terms of video and sound quality. This is a really great production, really great Blu-ray release here. And a couple other notes. So Second Sight in 2019, they actually produced a box set. Then they're also out of the UK, I should mention that. They produced a Blu-ray box set, a limited edition box set for Flight of the Navigator, which is seen right here. And this, I never thought we'd have treatment like this given to Flight of the Navigator. So in terms of the actual Flight of the Navigator film itself, I can't possibly recommend this release highly enough. In fact, this was, if I go back and look at physical media releases of 2019, I believe this was my favorite release of that entire year. So I think it would have been really wonderful for Life After the Navigator to be included in this box set, but I'm really grateful to have Life After the Navigator just on its own. But these are definitely definitely something that you should have on your shelf together. Just the definitive set for Flight of the Navigator, and then Lisa's documentary as well. Now, the other note that I wanted to make is that, so Lisa's done another Life After documentary called Life After Flash, and that focuses on the film Flash Gordon. and Arrow actually put out a release, and her documentary for Life After Flash is included on here. In fact, if we take the Blu-ray case out here, so on disc 2, if I can get that close enough and not get the glare, so we have the 2017 feature-length documentary by filmmaker Lisa Downs on the roller coaster life of Sam J. Jones since his role in Flash Gordon. So really excited to have that film included here. I have not watched that one yet, so I need to watch that. And lastly, I know she's got an upcoming film that she's working on, and they've started advertising a little bit for this, and that is Life After Atreyu, which takes a look at another 80s classic, another one of my absolute favorites, The Never-Ending Story. And there's actually a weird link between Flight of the Navigator and The Never-Ending Story, specifically with Joey Kramer, that I never knew. So I learned kind of a cool movie fact, and you'll have to watch the documentary to see what I'm talking about. But there is a cool link between those two movies. So just wanted to make those notes on these physical media releases, and I think all three of these are well worth owning, and to have Lisa's work included on Flash Gordon from Arrow is great. Would have been a great addition to the Flight of the Navigator set from Second Sight, but again, just grateful to have the film. But both should definitely be on your shelf, in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Let me know down in the comments if Flight of the Navigator is a film that you grew up with, if that's one that you enjoy. And also let me know if you've seen Life After the Navigator. I think it is well worth your time, and just really love the product that Lisa and her team developed. And I am looking forward to watching Life After Flash, and definitely Life After Atreyu. If you are new to this channel and you found this video helpful or entertaining in any way, I ask that you at least consider hitting the subscribe button, also the like button, that helps out the channel, and then lastly the bell icon. That will notify you when I upload new videos in the future. And until next time, my name is David, and you have a wonderful day.